Back again, back again. EK, Reelspicy. Terrell Owens. Back then, black women didn't want him. But now, they get mad at his preferences. And them comments is on fire, man. You already know. Let's go ahead and get into this clip. And I'll get right back at you. Like that.
With black women growing up wasn't so good. When I started dating white girls, my first experience with white girls was when I went to college. I tried to date some black girls when I was in college. They did not like me. I was skinny. I was strong.
Right.
I was teased from high school, even to college. I got teased for being dark skinned.
Damn, so they teased you, cuz?
Yeah. So there was a lot of self-esteem issues.
Right.
No, I'm being dead honest. So when I got my opportunity, when my first experience with a white girl, I'm like, okay, it wasn't bad, but that wasn't. I just totally gravitated to white girls after that.
Right.
That wasn't the situation. So again, my experiences with black women growing up wasn't so good. So, but that still didn't deter me from still dating or pursuing black girls. Right. So my thing now is because I know there's the stigma, the stereotypical of athletes, you know, to go off and make money, this and that, and date the opposite color, opposite race. But for me now, where I am, it's not even about color. It's not even about race. For me, it's about somebody that I have some chemistry with, good energy, and I get a good vibe with. Right. That's where I am. Yeah. Like I said, we all want somebody that's attractive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instead, it's going to play a big part in it. Anybody that says, "Oh, well, I don't care what the person looks like," that's a lie. That's a lie. We all want somebody that we can roll over and wake up to. That's, you know what I mean, that looks pleasing to the eye. Everybody's experiences have been different. For me, when I grew up, I was in my high school is 50. I don't know what percentage black, white, but I lived in a black neighborhood. So at the end of the day, I attempted to date black girls. When I was younger, I wasn't as handsome as I am now. I didn't have this beautiful smile as I had as I have now.
Hit puberty.
Right. I was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And when I bloomed, boy, did I bloom.
Man, it's a lot to unpack right there, just in that little short clip. First of all, whether you agree with him or not, you got a lot of people that have their preferences. Nothing of what he said was extreme or crazy. I mean, we've heard this before. And you got to allow people to have their preferences, whether you agree or disagree. You can see a lot of women out here having no problems at all sharing what they're interested in and what they're not interested in, what they won't deal with, what kind of men they won't accept, what kind of relationships they won't accept. And hey, that's your prerogative. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. I know y'all remember that. Where that come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's definitely not out of left field what he's saying. You know, like I said, I just think that certain people use the past experiences differently and they move forward differently. Some black women are some of the baddest on the planet, but at the same time, I can understand why people have preferences to open up other options. It's all about going where you appreciate it. That's really the name of the game. You know, I always say, like who like you. So to me, ethnicity kind of goes into that as well. It's about chemistry more than anything. You know, a lot of guys, they don't forget. You know what I'm saying? And so as they carry these experiences on, as they grow, they start to think, well, hey, I don't have to deal with the rejection anymore. You know, I could deal with women that I have more chemistry with. They look at me and they see value. They look at me and they see somebody who's attractive versus someone who's just looking at me like, oh, you ain't nobody. You know, oh, you ain't all that. Some people get that vibe, right? You know in your own mind that you have value. You are good looking, but you go out there and they don't treat you with the type of respect or that type of energy. You're not getting the type of chemistry like women see you as attractive. Then, hey, you have to move to women that do. And I think other women start to show more appreciation for him. They liked him. They liked him for who he was, felt more appreciated around these women. You definitely got to go where you appreciate it. That's no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it just sounded to me like he had more confidence and he had better experiences with other women other than black women. That's all he said. Nothing crazy. To each his own. That's his preference. I'm hearing and seeing a lot of women saying that it sounds like he hated black women. I don't hear it. But y'all let me know in them comments. I guess on the way up, some of these women don't realize the value that these guys could have. And a lot of women only want the guy once he's made it. This is true with a lot of different women, really. It ain't just black women. But I get it, right? He's black and he grew up with mostly black women. And I think that's mainly what it comes down to. It's not necessarily, at least I don't get from that, a hate for black women, you know, but I have seen in the comments where they're just like, man, just say you hate black women. And it's like, maybe that's just his experience. And like I said, you gotta let people have their preferences. I think automatically if you was to date outside your race, especially in the black community, you automatically looked at as someone who hates black women. Time and time again, you hear a lot of women saying what they experienced and what they went through or how they experienced their last relationships, and now they don't want to date this type of guy, or how they intimidate certain guys because they had money, or you know, whatever talking points, whatever experiences they have, they openly talk about it like no problem. What I would say is, like, I appreciate him, you know, breaking it down what he thinks and what his preferences are, because in this day and age it's rough. You know what I mean? As soon as you talk about what you're talking about, people try to make you feel guilty about it, because real quick and real easy you'll get your opinion and your preferences batted down immediately. You know, you can talk about weight, you can talk about whatever it is that you would like, that you would desire as a man, and they're gonna beat you down for it. So I do appreciate him, you know, speaking about it. I think a lot of people could grow off this conversation, just because they might feel guilty about it, or they might feel forbidden in certain parts of America to date whoever they wanted to date. You know, I've always been someone who's saying, hey, date who you want to date. If you want to date only black women, that's great. But if you want to date whoever you want to date outside of black women, that's your choice. Especially when we're talking about who you want to be with over time, you should choose who you want to be with. You know what I mean? Nobody should tell you who to be with. You got a life to live. You got what you want your life to be like. You got to find someone who's going that same direction or similar direction. It just, as men, we got to make sure that we're, you know, looking for the right women. You know what I'm saying? We know ourselves, we know what we're trying to do, and then we are narrowing down what it is that we need to be looking for in a woman. I've heard of this too with black women, right? They've said that, hey, you know, I went off and dated men in other races as well. And so I don't really get the issue. Like I said, it's always a problem when a man talks about his preferences. That's really what I get out of most of these things. It's like, it's always an issue when a man speaks his mind or has an opinion. Again, women could talk all day about their preferences, and especially black women, they're very boisterous about what they're into, what they're not into, fuck boys and all this other stuff. I totally get it, right? You know, I don't feel them type of way. It is what it is, right? Guys is speaking their mind. I think that's driving women crazy, right? It's all these, you know, people talking on the internet about their experiences in relationships. You know, now it's men speaking up, you know, and saying what they want. And that's just driving a lot of these women crazy. And I've heard a lot of women saying that he's lying and that can't be his experience. And why would he lie? Why would he make that up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I've heard this from several different men, but I just think some men approach it where they don't date black women anymore, or they don't prefer to date black women, or they keep them in the options and date other races as well, or they still prefer to date black women even though they didn't like them before, but now they like them. So again, it's really, you might still have those experiences, but it impacted you in a different way. Like I said, everybody has their own preference. To me, I don't have an issue with it. He didn't say all black women should burn or nothing like that. He didn't say nothing super hateful. He just said his experience as far as what he went through. I just want to know why, when a guy speaks like this, why does he get so much hate about it? Ladies, what issues do you have with what he said? Please explain to me. But to say that there's no black woman worth dating, you know, that's a different thing, right? But he's not saying that. He's saying his experience was they didn't really value him, and he decided to open up his options. But let me know what y'all think, man. This has been going crazy. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. You know how we do. You know what I'm saying? Bang on that like button. Bang on that like button. We'll go ahead and get up out of here. Thanks for watching. Be easy.